link, which is better than the link I had. Yeah, it's not there. So, okay. Well, let's, since it doesn't appear Scott's going to show, we'll just get started here. How about that?
Sounds good.
Can you hear my sound at all?
Yeah, I got you now.
Welcome to the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room Podcast. We are here to podcast about anything and everything Star Wars with you. Please visit our website where you can play current and past episodes. That's https://RABR.KyleJohansson.us. That's RABR.KyleJohansson.us. On the left-hand side is a navigation menu. You can use this to learn how to load the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room podcast on your Android or Apple phone and tablet. And we have direct links to our podcast on Apple and Google Podcasts. Please participate by connecting to our social media, answering questions of the week, or submitting feedback directly from the site. Again, all of these are available at the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room website at RABR.KAILEJOHANSEN.US. And now, it's time to talk Star Wars. Yay! I'm Kyle Jon Johansson, and this is Andrew Scott Sutton. Say hello. That's not Andrew. That's Rick. Yay! It's Rick today.
Yay!
And he's still stuck in Canada. That's sad.
Oh, can't get away.
You're snowed in or something.
Yeah,
iced in. That's it. So today we're reviewing Star Wars: The Mandalorian Season 3, Chapter 23, called The Spies. And I have a couple news things we're going to talk about. We have some, of course, we discuss who all the cast was, which is a very long list today. Not much longer than it was last week, but and then we're going to kind of, we'll review it and then talk about it, and we'll have a question of the week as well. So then we'll kind of bug you to send us some feedback, which we would appreciate. But we'll start the news here. It's time for the news. Yeah, so since we had Star Wars Celebration just recently, it was in Europe this year, there's a lot of things that were released. And that's usually what happens. We get a really silent period of Star Wars news, and then all of a sudden, boom, they hit us with everything at Celebration, which sounds like they're not going to have until 25 now. They're not going to do 24, possibly. So anyway, first thing that came out was a trailer for the Ahsoka show that's supposed to be out this year, supposedly. It's supposed to be out this fall.
August.
So, yeah. So I'm sharing my screen now. It's a big black screen. And you can hear that too, Rick?
Yep.
Screen. Right. Let's try again, Rick. That better?
Good.
Something's coming. Something dark.
Very dark.
I sense it.
Oh, it's all red.
This is a new beginning. For some, war. For others, power.
Things have changed.
That's the one right there.
Hearing whispers.
Oh,
One's return.
there's our blue guy.
Heir to the Empire. We have to prepare for the worst. The Jedi fell a long time ago. There aren't many left.
it is. It says August. There's lots of sound and effects there. So what I usually do, Rick, is I play it like that, and then if you want me to step through it and talk about specific things, we can. Or we can just talk about what we just saw and not step through. It's up to you.
We just talk about it because then we can do more in depth later when it starts playing next year.
Yeah, of course.
So,
but
I haven't watched all of Rebels. I just know that they talked about that one scene that I commented was like supposed to be like the end of Rebels or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was closer to the end was when Kanan was using the Force to stop an explosion or something like that from killing people or whatever. And in that same episode, Ezra, we're not sure if he's kidnapped or he just willingly goes with Thrawn, and Thrawn disappears, and we're left not knowing where he went, and our crew that's supposedly left around doesn't know where Ezra Bridger is.
Okay.
So, not to spoil it for you if you haven't gotten that far, but that's kind of what happens.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that far, but I've kind of pieced some of it together because then that kind of ties in with the Mandalorian talking about that character as well, like awaiting his return.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. This first part where it says something's dark is coming or something like that. They've been talking about that in the Mandalorian too. There's something dark going on out there, or odd, or whatever. With the Carlson guy, the guy in the fighter that was going around, asked the Mandalorians to help. Grief Karga. Yeah, and a lot of this is just kind of introducing the characters again. As you can see, there's not a lot revealed in this entire thing at all. So we see this is that's supposed to be Sabine Wren. It's not a very dark picture there, probably because it's paused, but that's Sabine Wren. She's a Mandalorian, but in Rebels, I think it's one of the last seasons she starts to learn how to use a lightsaber. And I think that's who we're supposed to think is using a lightsaber further on in this trailer, because not here, but the girl with the white hair, I think that's supposed to be Sabine too.
Yeah, where she comes out and she's got the hood and the hood comes off or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's supposed to be her too. But so I wanted to point this out too. Let me get there. So those look like Praetorian guards or whatever, but they're not. They're something different. But what I was going to point out was this guy. There's some sort of rope. There she is. I'm pretty sure that's Sabine Wren too. I can't tell, but I think her logo's on that shirt there. Yeah, you can't really see. It says this summer. August isn't summer, is it?
Yeah, it's considered summer. So remind me the connection. Like, Sabine is not the one that's connected with Obi, right? That's Bo-Katan's sister, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. I didn't think there was that connection, but I just want to make sure.
Sabine was a rogue Mandalorian, and she didn't agree with some of the stuff going on her planet, because
right here
during the Clone Wars and the Rebels, they talked about this offshoot of the group called Death Watch and such, and then there was the regular group, and then there's another group too that's something different, and she didn't like all that stuff going on, so she left. Her family was at the time House of Wren, which was the ruling house, and she left. So she's like what Bo-Katan was going to be. She was going to inherit the entire Mandalorian thing, and at some point I think it was Death Watch defeated them or something like that, and
Gotcha.
and they went out. But I was going to mention this guy. This guy looks like, and I'm not quite sure yet. He looks like one of those guys in the Shadow thing that we saw this week. The Shadow Empire guys. He looks like one of those guys. And I just, even from watching this several times, I can't tell if it's him or not, because the way those guys were in that blue hue or whatever, I can't really tell. But I think he's one of those warlords.
So if you watch it when it does a closed caption, it says Babylon. Like it pops up that he speaks and his name is like Babylon.
The Empire.
And I can't remember who that lady is.
We have to prepare for the worst. The Jedi fell a long time ago. There aren't many left.
Perhaps it is time to begin again.
That's enough of that. So I don't know if I ever mentioned to you, but Thrawn and his people aren't in the same system that we see in most of Star Wars.
Okay.
They're in the outer rim area, which is unexplored. Okay, so nobody knows what's out there, and they're pretty far out there. And Thrawn gets expelled from his military, with his people, and they take that pretty seriously. So he takes off on his own, kind of thing, and that's why he ends up in our space, because they're one of their big thing is they're kind of like the Romulan, or not the Romulans, the the Star Trek thing. I can't even associate it anymore. But yeah, they want to take over and rule areas and stuff.
Gotcha.
Maybe not maliciously. They just like to say they own stuff, I guess, maybe. But anyway, at this time, he's already been involved with Darth Vader and everything. Obviously, Darth Vader's dead in our Mandalorian timeline. So he was involved back with Darth Vader. And we never saw any of that stuff because it's technically maybe canon, maybe not quite canon yet. It's about to be, a lot of it's about to be made, because I hope they do some flashbacks so people understand. But
yeah,
there's a lot there. And that guy we were just talking about, when he was in this scene here, he uses the Force to push somebody. So that's interesting too.
yeah, he does the Darth Vader grip thing, like he.
Yeah, he does. Which is, it should be rare in this time. Because we know that majority of the Jedi are dead, right? So where did this guy come from? And I've heard a story that Jon Favreau, the guy who's writing most of this stuff, and Dave Filoni purposely made his lightsaber so it didn't look quite red like the dark side usually is. So it's almost a little orange. You can't really see it. I'm sorry about messing with this.
No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it was right back, kind of right there.
I can't find it, but anyway, yeah, there it is. It's almost orange.
Mm-hmm.
So there, it's supposed to be that way on purpose, and you're supposed to notice that it's orange on purpose, because I think they're kind of referring to. We talked about this before when we talked about the different kinds of Jedi. There's a version of the Jedi that's right in the middle. You got right in the middle, and they kind of think some stuff like a Sith, and some stuff like a Jedi, and they don't necessarily think that they're all completely separate. You have to have a little bit of both, and that's what I'm wondering what this is about. If this is one of those kind of guys that's on the fence kind of guy.
So he's potentially a new character that we're going to get introduced to kind of tie some of the stories together. Then,
yeah, possibly, yeah. But anyway, I'm excited about this Ahsoka. Mostly because Ahsoka's a character that wasn't in anything else except for our Fisher stuff. She was in the Clone Wars. She was first introduced there, and I think she was introduced like almost right away in the first season. But anyway, she was a little tiny girl then.
She's got a connection with Bo-Katan too, though. So
they're
interwoven the stories together.
Exactly, and truthfully, I think that's the whole plan. Is they want you to believe they're all intertwined, which they are, because they're all telling the same story. Let's say from a different point of view.
Yeah.
Kind of. They're a little different, of course, but you're seeing the rise of the let's say it's not the Empire, but the New Order, whatever they called it, New Order, First Order, and you're seeing it from different points of view. We're seeing it from the Mandalorian, from everywhere that now doesn't have the Empire over them and stuff. Anyway, the second one I've got is a trailer for that Star Wars Visions I was telling you about. And just for a little background, Visions is maybe what you would call an imagining of Star Wars from different points of view. Let's imagine these Jedi Knights are like samurai knights, or this and that, and maybe all the legend is passed down, like a samurai's legend and all that stuff is passed down and such. And it's it's a chance for other studios to do something related to Star Wars. And last time they did 8 different episodes, and I believe they're going to do 8 more this time. Here's just a little trailer. Make that bigger.
Everyone has an inner light.
Follow the light.
I always knew you were meant for bigger things.
What if you just keep going?
No need to fear. There are others like you here.
I saw it myself. She has special powers.
Can you get your porta potty off the starting line?
She's a total... Exactly. Don't be afraid. May the Force be with you.
It's showtime. The storm is approaching.
I can fight them. I'm strong enough now.
No one is stronger than them.
We can beat them.
You there! Hold it!
We cannot choose where our calling takes us. Only whether or not to answer.
was loud too. So it is animated, of course, from what you could tell. Most of them are, and the people and the stories that you see in there are not necessarily anything we know about. They're like, okay, we could take something a different way, or this could be something that Star Wars or Lucasfilms could pursue.
Gotcha.
Almost to me, almost like they're auditioning to do something for Lucasfilms,
Yeah.
But they're all usually pretty good, and they're usually just 30 minutes or something short kind of thing.
Well,
And it's
like, so like, I don't know, just picking out Ray on the planet. It's more of like the people who live on the planet's lives and how they see the things that happen.
right, stuff like that. And I mean, they obviously have to tie it into the mythology and stuff, force using and all that crap, and they do.
Yeah.
You saw the little kid trying to use the force. We don't know what happens there, but maybe he throws that TIE fighter away or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. You get to see some of the stuff you normally wouldn't see, and that's kind of the idea. They pitch it and they say, okay, you guys send us in samples, and we're gonna pick 8 of you that get to go in this season of Visions or whatever. It all comes out. You saw in the trailer, May the 4th, and like I said, they're all 8 episodes should come out at the same time. So, I don't know how. I think last time we reviewed these, we just reviewed the entire 8 of them at the same time. So we'll see. Partly because they don't really tie into the main storyline, so we didn't really go that in depth in them. We just kind of talked about them and mentioned them and stuff. Here's another one. So this is all kinds of trailers. So this is the Young Jedi, and this is the one I don't think you're gonna like, because it's all animated and it's all kind of it's based on for little kids.
To be high.
Stay back and watch a future Jedi Master.
Liz.
Hi there, little one.
Nash.
This is the fun part.
And Nubs. Your first adventure awaits. You will train in the way of the Jedi. Learn.
Is that a gangle? That is a gangle.
Help others. Explore. The galaxy is full of wonders and challenges. May the Force be with you.
We'll be fine if we stick together. It's the space slug! Fly away! The Force is with me.
Jedi Adventures.
Going on adventures with my Jedi friends. Hope this fun never ends. What? It's my new Jedi friend adventure song.
I saw that there. It's going to be on Disney Junior.
Yeah.
And Disney Plus. So I it's supposed to be released on May the 4th also, and I don't know. I'm not even sure if we're going to really watch that one, because that's might be a little too kiddie for me too.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That looks like you were born to be.
Stop. Moby Dick.
Yep. So we also heard about the Acolyte. I don't have a trailer because they didn't release one yet. But that's supposed to be coming next year sometime. That's the one about the Sith. It's all about the Sith, different people. It's no there's Jedi in it, of course, but we're telling a story from the point of view of I think it's a female Jedi, or not a female Sith, that I think is an apprentice of a Sith Lord of some sort. This is just the logo that one of the logos that someone incorporated with. I think the new logo is just the acolyte part, but they added the Star Wars thing to it. But that's that, and that looks to be a pretty good show to me. I think that'll be a. I've always wanted to know more about the dark side and stuff, and they talk a little bit about it in the movies, but they don't really. It's more about the Jedi, right?
Yeah. Focuses on the Jedi.
And our last thing here that we've got is about Bad Batch. They announced season 3 in 2024, which is good. We get to continue and find out what happened to, Crosshair and all that. They didn't reveal a lot, but it's definitely going to be the last season also. So season 3 is the final season. And you also need to realize they mentioned a couple times that we're talking about how all these shows tie together.
Yep.
Bad Batch is also one of those shows that's going to tie together with all these other shows. So, even though it's animated, there are things we can pull from there that will, be important in other shows too.
Yeah, Rag who shows up in a few things. So
yeah, exactly.
Sweet.
And I'm trying to read. I was going to see if it says if they skipped any time or anything for season 3.
Maybe we'll get Vin Diesel to be Wrecker and
bring him into live action. Huh?
I don't know who would be a good person for Hunter.
Yeah.
Ooh, Jason Momoa. That would be awesome as Wrecker. He'd be an awesome Wrecker.
Just get Arnold Schwarzenegger in there. He's about ready to keel over anyway.
Yeah, he wouldn't be a good Wrecker.
Yeah. Anyway.
Be an awesome Crosshair, but sadly he's, struggling.
Yep, it's sad about him. He probably could make a bunch of more movies. He's done well for himself, I think, Bruce Willis.
For sure.
He, obviously the diehards, but he's done well outside of Die Hard too.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's season 3, and officially announced. We don't have a trailer or anything yet for it because they probably don't have one. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is about this show that we're reviewing. Episode 23 is called The Spies, and this article that Rick sent is talking about spies, but it doesn't really. It gives you some ideas, and the obvious one, of course, we know is this female Ella Kane, but they don't really mention the other ones except for possible suspicious people, like we're all suspicious of the Armour, maybe. I was suspicious of the guy that got killed this week. But yeah, Paz Vizsla. I was suspicious of him, but he seemed to kind of pull his weight in the last couple episodes, I guess, and not be so resistant as he was. But I don't know. You never can tell with Moff Gideon. He's probably got spies, everywhere, more than we think we have.
Well, I think the focus is, they're trying to draw all the attention on the Armour or whatever, and I think, the more I think about it, the more I think that's what they want us to do, and then it's going to be someone completely out of the blue that we're going to be like, holy crap, we were totally blindsided by that.
Yeah, it could be. It could be this guy, Axe Wolves. He's the head of the other set of Mandalorians.
Yeah.
It could be that, or it could be that female that's always hanging around him.
Yeah.
Her real name is Mercedes. What do they call her?
I know. She's the one that's got the crossed headband thing or whatever.
Exactly. Axe Wolves is the guy, and then they didn't even mention her in this article. But it could be something like that too. There were a lot of those guns for hire, since that was the previous episodes. There was a lot of those people in there that were kind of resistant, I think, to maybe joining together with the other team, the Armour's group. But I don't know. I don't. I'm kind of like you. I think the Armour's suspicious, but what would she gain from it? That's what I don't understand. What is she trying to get rid of all the other Mandalorians and just have her little crew and that's it? I don't know. I don't know what the point is because we probably can guess that Moff Gideon's not gonna let him peacefully live on the same planet as his little secret base he's got there. So I don't know. It would be weird if Bo-Katan was our one of our spies.
True.
But so we could kind of mention that also with this. So there's supposed to be a major person in the show is supposed to die this last episode.
Yep, that's what they're saying.
And I think, they're trying to make us think it's going to be Djarin because he's been captured, but I don't think that's going to be the person. I think it's actually going to be their Armour is going to die. And we'll never know for sure if she actually was a spy or not.
Or maybe we do find out she was, and that's why she dies.
Yeah. So they also mentioned in their little shadow meeting on the last episode, the guns for hire one, I think. Or maybe it was this one, but yeah, I mentioned this Project Necromancer. I don't know if you read that part of the article that you sent.
Yeah, I did.
And that's definitely the project where they're trying to clone and revive the Emperor or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's one of the guys that was in there. That guy is the right hand of Thrawn. Basically, he's one of Thrawn's head guys.
Mm-hmm.
And when I looked him up because I always look up their names and put them in the notes and stuff. I was surprised who that guy actually is. He looks familiar there, but you can't really tell. And then I looked up the actor and I was like, oh, I remember this guy and all kinds of stuff. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Share my audio again. Get out of this news so we can get going here. Looks like we got a third person joining us too.
Oh.
Did you get your time get behind there? Get behind time there, Scott?
I was busy.
I
don't do stuff while I drive.
He was sleeping still.
No, I thought about banging on your door.
Oh, okay.
But I just came from away from.
We could have. So we haven't gotten very far. We just got through the news, Scott. So, we haven't reviewed the, walked through all the episode yet and everything. Which I was just going to end the news. And tell everybody to watch the episode because we're going to get heavy on the episode. All right, that's all the screening and what we need, Adam. All right, so our director this week was Rick Fujimami. I don't know how to say his name. It's Famuyiwa Fujimama or something. I don't know. Writer, of course. Yeah. Writer was Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. They both co-wrote the episode. It was edited again this week by Racheal Goodlett Katz. Music themes, I can't talk today. Ludwig Goransson. Joseph Shirley did the music score. And down to our cast, we had, Djarin was Pedro Pascal. We had his stunt doubles, Brendan Wayne and Lateef Crowder. We had Katan as Katy Sackhoff. Axe Wolves was as Simon Cassidis. There she is. Her name was Casa Reeves. His Mercedes Vernado. We of course had Ella Kane, Katy O'Brien. Moff Gideon was Giancarlo Esposito. Grief Karga was Carl Weathers. The Armour was Emily Swallow. We had Paz Vizsla. Yeah. Paz Vizsla was Tait Fletcher. We need a moment of silence. Moment of silence for Paz Vizsla since he's no longer with us anymore. Okay, that's long enough. That's enough. Yeah, or is he? Well, I don't know. Is he actually dead or not? We don't know. Yeah, we kind of looked like they killed him, but I don't know. So we have Gilead Callion, who's played Xander Berkeley plays him. Brendel Hux, played by Brian Gleason. And I wanted to mention that Brendel Hux was the redheaded guy on the Shadow Council. And he is the father of the Hux that we see in the First Order. The General Hux that is always yelling and doing the Heil Hitler move in the movie and stuff. He's the father of that guy. So this guy shepherded the First Order, and his son took over, I guess we could say.
He's in charge of that Project Necromancer too, right?
Yeah. And he's the one that has all the weapons to give out too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He's given all the weapons to Moff Gideon. So he's got quite a bit of the Empire's resources, we could say. Somewhere hidden. We don't know. And then the rest of the warlords, there was Johnny Coyne, Judy Long, Himki Madra, Ron Botada, Marco Khan, and Maldia Pokerin. And then again we had the Navarro copper droid that had to say that they were getting invaded by Imperials when he didn't look at the markings on the bottom of the ship. We saw Ragnar, the Paz Vizsla's son, for a few moments. They told him to take all the kids and go away or something.
Yeah.
Then we had the Zellion that was running IG-12. That was played by Shirley Henderson. IG-12 was played by Takati Watiki. Survivor Scout that was on the whatever that skiffer boat that we saw in Mandalore. He's the one that was in the top thing scouting stuff out. Charles Baker, and the Survivor Captain was Charles Purnell. Phew, that's a long crew. I need a breath. We'll go get some repairs done. Are you planning your next trip to Tatooine? Well, come on down to Pelly's Mod and Repair Shop, where our droids will spruce up your wagon. We'll service just about anything from Starfighter Corellian Y1300 freighter to a Vespa hovering scooter. If we don't have the part, we can get it. If you qualify for our special program, we'll provide you with any part our Jawas can get. Well, that's right. Come on down to Pelly's Mod and Repair Shop, where we can store fuel and upgrade your vessel. We're located at Tatooine's Mos Eisley Spaceport, Hangar 35. Right across the street from Aaron's.
Aaron. And on that corner, D Nice works.
D Nice. Okay. All right. To remind you again, we're talking about The Mandalorian Season 3, Chapter 23, called The Spies. Originally aired on April 12th, and this time it was 53 minutes long. one of the longer ones we've had this time. And that means it's time to grab your favorite beverage, pull up a chair, and join us in the Rebel Alliance briefing room. All right. Yeah. So we start out. We learn that Ella is is one of the undercover people. So Ella walks through rainy back streets on Coruscant, and she meets a Viper probe droid, which scans her face, and she says the code of TK2755, which is a stormtrooper designation, by the way. TK is a stormtrooper designation, which is odd, but the droid displays a hollow projector of Moff Gideon, who asks for her report. He says, "Quickly, I'm in a hurry." Kane reports that
he's an asshole.
Yeah, he is. Send me your TPS report. Yeah. She reports on the pirates on Navarro have run into trouble, and Gideon reminds her that she reported that the New Republic would not provide support. And Kane explains that the High Magistrate Grief cargo was aided by Mandalorians. Oh no. It consisted of Bo-Katan and her squad, and Djarin and his covert, little Yoda. Gideon is shocked since the two Mandalorian factions are sworn enemies. He says, "What?" And Kane explains that that's why she contacted him in such a hurry, so he could know this. Gideon tells her that her mission is to deal with the Mandalorians. What do you guys think about that part? Is that that was a little shocking for them to come out front and basically call her? I guess we already knew from the previous episode, I guess, because she kind of pushed the supervisor in the office to go a certain way, right?
Yeah. It was cool to see the turn, but I wasn't really surprised about the connection. But
yeah, I wasn't really surprised either. But yeah, I mean, we knew that she's definitely working with Moff Gideon directly.
Yeah.
All right, so now we get to the part where basically he's done talking to her, and he's walking into this shadow council that he's got this secret chamber in or whatever. Some weird symbol in the middle. I could never catch what that symbol was in the middle. So Gideon walks down the hallway, flanked by several soldiers wearing white armor and red sensors. So it's obviously highly protected. He's paranoid he's going to get assassinated, right? And he walks into a laboratory full of tanks before he enters the conference chamber. Oh, it's a conference chamber.
As he was walking, it would and then
yeah.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, it reminded me of that scene where
does he need that armor the way it is reminiscent of Darth Vader? Is he that injured, or is it just
he just thinks it looks cool. I think it just looks cool is what he thinks. I don't think he's that injured. I mean, when we last saw him, Djarin kind of disabled him a little bit and got the dark saber from him, but he wasn't really hurt that bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just that he thinks it looks cool.
Okay.
And that he can make this armor out of the same way the Mandalorians did.
Yeah, the Beskar.
Because I think, honestly, he actually kind of idolizes the Mandalorians a little bit because he likes the way they operate. But it's also another mark on his list that he's checked off. He's defeated the Mandalorians.
Well, but also, if you go back to the previous episode where the captain finds the ship that he was on, and he comments about Beskar, now it kind of makes sense.
Exactly.
Implying that the Mandalorians were involved in it, but now we kind of go, maybe it wasn't the Mandalorians that were involved in breaking him out.
Exactly. It was his own crew that So he walks into a laboratory full of tanks that kind of look like clone tanks, right? and he enters the conference chamber where there's a bunch of holograms of Imperial officers. One reports that the New Republic is vulnerable and that they must be cautious in revealing their true strength so they don't cause suspicion. A bald male commander, that's what they call him here, a bald male commander, thank you very much, disagrees and suggests that plundering hyperspace lanes can be profitable. A bearded Captain Gilead Halion warns the commander that hit-and-run operations are gaining too much notice, and they want to be perceived as disorganized and warlords and not an actual organized group of people. The female officer adds that there's many citizens that are loyal to the Empire on every planet in the galaxy. She adds they're growing sick of the New Republic and its rules and regulations, which is weird because the Empire had more rules and regulations, I thought, but whatever. When another bearded officer suggests using a show of strength to get the loyals to rally around them, Hellion advises that the strength must not be wasted and adds that Grand Admiral Thrawn, it's the first time they said his name out loud in the show, I guess, except for when Ahsoka was here, will herald the return of emergence of the Imperial military. So his return is going to bring the entire military that they've assembled, and he might give Brindle Hux enough time to deliver on Project Necromancer. Hux smiles and motions. He says, "I'm a good guy." Yeah. Gideon remarks that Pelion speaks with much authority, but notices that Thrawn is missing from the delegation. He says, "You talk a lot of talk, but where's your guy you keep talking about?" He asks when Thrawn will be able to participate in the Shadow Council, and Pelion replies that he hopes his hopes for success depend on the secrecy of his return. And Gideon expresses skepticism, saying that he has heard a few rumors about the return of Thrawn, but mostly he's heard people doubting the return of Thrawn. Gideon suggests that they should look to new leadership, which probably he's going to nominate himself as the new leader, right?
Nominate me.
And we hear that Hux and the female warlord support that. Oh, they don't. Okay. They don't want Thrawn. Hux says that Project Necromancer is in place and asks that Gideon about Dr. Penn Pershing. This is when he tells him that Pershing is no longer available, basically, is what he says, right? Yeah. He was captured by the New Republic and that his research was lost, is what he said.
He says it was unavailable at the moment, but they hope they could get it later or something. Yeah.
Which I don't know how that. Yeah, I don't know how that would happen. They scrambled his brain, so he's probably not going to be able to get anything out of him. But Hux confronts Gideon about rumors that he held Pershing captive and was attempting his own experiments on Navarro, which could be. We saw Gideon has his own tanks of clones, I guess. He responds that the creation of clones is Hux's obsession and that he accounts for what goes on in his sector. He adds that the same goes for all the other members of the Shadow Council. Gideon observes that the warlords scrape their resources while Pelion and Hux amass resources and equipment that should be shared. So basically he's saying that the two of them are hoarding all the Empire's assets and not sharing with the other warlords.
Alms for the poor.
Yeah. And that's when Gideon asks for 3 Praetorian guards, and because he's concerned about assassination, and he also wants reinforcements for his TIE fighter interceptor squadron. So he wants replacements. He also requests some bombers so he can deal with the Mandalorians. And he explains how he believes the Mandalorians are going to retake their homeworld, which I don't think Kane knows about that particularly. The Ella Kane girl. So that's kind of also pointing to the rumor that someone within the Mandalorian faction is spying as well. Because how would he know that specifically? That it's almost word for word from what they said earlier. And Pelion is surprised about the resurgence of the Mandalorians, and he asks if they would cause any harm, and Gideon argues that they need to stamp them out now so they don't have to worry about them later. All the warlords agree, and Pelion promises his reinforcements and guards. So Gideon's happy. He says, "Yay! I'm excited. Once and for all, they'll be taken care of." And then he does this little spinny thing and says, "Long live the Empire! Long live the Empire!" And they all start chanting. Yeah, I thought that was a little weird thing, a little Shadow Council thing. That was kind of weird, but it was kind of cool to see all those people. And
but it sets up the whole thing that he's using Mandalore as a secret base, and he doesn't want anybody to discover it. So that's the whole point.
Exactly.
Resources, and maybe he's even hiding it from those other members.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he is. I would guess that they're all kind of doing a little bit of hiding as it is.
Yeah.
Coming out to steal every once in a while so they can have something to sell or whatever.
Absolutely.
All right, so now we go back to Navarro, and the locals have started seeing the arrival of the Mandalorian fleet. The Imperial warships, including Gideon's former light cruiser. Karg's protocol droid is startled by the arrival of the Imperial ships, but Karga points out the ships are now under Mandalorian control and points at the markings underneath, where we see a big mythosaur marking on the bottom of the light cruiser. The Armour emerges from her tent with members of the tribe to gaze at the approaching Mandalorian fleet. They kind of stare with their jaws open wide. What's going on? Bo-Katan flies her gauntlet starfighter with Grogu sitting on her lap. She tells Djarin that she hopes the tribe and her followers are able to get along despite their enmity, or whatever that word is. Bo-Katan emerges with her followers, and Vizsla tells his son Ragnar to take the children inside, because they don't want him to see the confrontation. Bo-Katan and her followers all remove their helmets, which you would have thought they wouldn't have done that right away, because they all know that's kind of an insult to these other guys, but whatever.
That's but Armour told them in the last thing that they had to all get along.
Yeah, and she did, and we get a moment of tension there. There's probably a little too long of a moment of tension before she comes out and says, "Hey, welcome newcomers," and issues some orders for the preparation of a feast. Yeah, clang. And Karga and his protocol droids visit Djarin at that landing spot, and Karga marvels at the stolen fleet and offers Djarin a bottle of wine from Coruscant to celebrate. Later, Karga introduces Djarin and Grogu to IG-12, a refurbished droid built on IG-11's chassis, piloted by an Alzinian droidsmith. The droid has been stripped of its memory circuits, and he describes the refurbished droid as just a vehicle, transportation vehicle. After the Alzinian walks away and says, "Bad baby, no squeezy," Karga convinces Djarin to fit Grogu into the control cockpit. And actually, I don't think he actually convinced him. I think Grogu just walked up and got into it.
Yeah.
Djarin thinks Grogu is too young to operate the heavy machinery, but Grogu uses the droid's vocal, whatever, his voice thing, and says, no.
No.
Or yes.
Yeah.
He tells the adults that he wants to ride the 12 in the office, and Djarin disagrees, but Grogu is stubborn and walks IG-12 around while babbling yes through the vocals. Yes. While walking through the streets of Navarro City, Grogu uses IG-12 to help himself to a snack from the Coruscant hawker's stall. But before that, he's saying yes the whole time. Yeah, so he helps himself, and he has no idea that you have to pay for that stuff. So he's Djarin is paying for it. He stops and Grogu picks up they call it a jogan fruit, Jogan fruit, and Djarin tries to stop him, but Grogu ends up squeezing the fruit and squirting it all over the place. And of course, he has to pay for that one too. Let's see. Jogan fruit is a type of fruit found. Jogan were round and mostly purple with white stripes and red leaves. Fruit can be eaten raw or cooked. Fruit was the main ingredient and garnish of a Jogan fruit cake dessert. Also a fruit tart, blah, blah, blah. So it's like an apple, I guess. It grows in orchards, many planets throughout the galaxy.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah. Sounds lovely.
Telling me go bake up a Jogan fruit pie.
Yeah, she'll be eating it all by herself. Yeah, so later that night, the two Mandalorian factions gather for their feast. Bo-Katan tells them that it is time to retake their homeworld. Even though the planet is not cursed, she warns that there are still dangers, such as dormant almites to those weird human people. The remaining magnetic interference has made it impossible to scan the surface from above. And I was going to talk here about if you notice when they're walking around, there's these big, huge things on the spits that they're cooking over the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the birds they brought back a couple episodes ago?
Yeah,
they sure look an awful lot like those birds. We thought they were going to keep them as pets, but I guess they're going to eat them. Huh?
I guess those came into a pretty important role, huh?
Exactly. They were hungry and they had lots of meat. She proposes that they leave Navarro and move the fleet into orbit above Mandalore. Bo-Katan intends to send down a small recon party to scout the surface, including the Great Forge. Once it's safe, they will bring down the others, and Bo-Katan seeks volunteers from both tribes. There's a little moment of tension here where nobody says anything, and our hero Djarin volunteers first. I will go. That's what they say, right, Scott? I will go. And next thing we hear, everybody saying, I will go, I will go. We get quite a crowd. We get Costa Reeves and Axe Wolves, Paz Vizsla, the Armour, and several others join along. Some fodder for the Spark Troopers or whatever you call them. All right, volunteers. Okay, the following day, the Mandalorian fleet departs Navarro and travels in hyperspace to Mandalore. After arriving in orbit, Bo-Katan leads a security party to the surface in her Gauntlet fighter. After they've entered the atmosphere, the ship opens the belly doors to drop several scouts equipped with jetpacks. The scouts land on Mandalore's rocky surface, and Wolf informs the Gauntlet that landing zone is secure. Djarin, Grogu, and IG-12 and the Armour, and they all disembark. And Bo-Katan tells the Mandalorians that below lies their ancient capital of Sundari. She says that they will survey the surface until they find the forge and establish a perimeter. Bo-Katan adds that they will bring the settlers in once it is safe. After walking a distance, they spot a large land ship on wheels approaching them. The people aboard ask if they have food. Hey, do you have food over there? We're hungry. And Bo-Katan says, yes, we do. One of the people aboard notices that they're wearing the signal of the night owls. And Bo-Katan says, I hope so. Meaning, she's supposed to. The Armour recognizes the strangers as Mandalorians. The person asks if he is addressing Lady Bo-Katan, and she confirms her identity. The Mandalorians on the land ship activate their jetpacks and meet the scouting party. As the men introduce themselves as followers of Lady Bo-Katan, who reaffirm their loyalty. Wow. And then they talk about how they are sad that they failed her.
You got hiccups?
Now I got a tickle in my throat. Little bitty hair down there. The Mandalorians explain that the Empire destroyed every ship leaving Mandalore and twice bombed Mandalore's surface as punishment. Bo-Katan explains that she did surrender to the Empire after their forces were annihilated through the Night of 1,000 Tears. She explains that she had met with Moff Gideon after the Imperial Security Bureau reached out to her for negotiating a ceasefire. In exchange for submitting to the Empire and disarming all remaining Mandalorian cities, and lives were supposed to be spared. But Moff Gideon took the dark saber and betrayed her, leaving them helpless during the Great Purge. So they told her that she was going to have a peace treaty and took advantage of her and went ahead and wiped out Mandalore anyway. When the leader of the Mandalorian survivors asked how the tribe survived, the Armour explained that they hid on the moon of Concordia. When the leader asks if they are Death Watch, the Armour replies that it's splintered into numerous warring factions. Bo-Katan adds that their people have always been divided into factions. While Mandalore has been too powerful for any enemy to defeat, it's their division which destroys them. In private, Djarin says that he had no idea that they had been taught by his tribe that everything with them was forsaken in the way of the Mandalore. He admits that he believed that Bo-Katan was selfish and uncaring. Djarin says that he is now understands. Bo-Katan replies that she regrets that her selfishness led to this destruction. Djarin reassures her that they survived a millennia of destruction. Bo-Katan admits that she does not know if she can keep their people united and says that the dark saber is the only thing that can unify her people. Djarin replies that the dark saber station and bloodlines mean nothing compared with honor, loyalty, and character. He says these are the reasons that he serves her and vows to serve her until her song is written. Djarin's words encourage Bo-Katan. And he says, I have spoken. No, he doesn't. That was the last episode.
This is the way.
This is the way, yeah. So later...
This is the way.
Later, Bo-Katan proposes they continue exploring the following day, and the Armour responds that the Mandalorian survivors are too weak to continue, and says she will ferry them back to the fleet in the morning. So Bo-Katan agrees and speaks to the captain of the survivors. Those of them who are well enough to continue the search for the Great Forge will stay, and the captain offers to bring her to the forge because he knows exactly where it is. The following day, he and the able crew continue their search for the forge. The Armour takes the wounded back to the gauntlet and back to the fleet, flying through the rainstorm during the journey to the forge. Paz Vizsla, Wolves, and Axe Wolves play a game of chess. Wolves remarks that only a wing guard can flank a jump. Vizsla replies that the enforcer moves like a wing guard when it's flanking. And Wolves accuses him of cheating. And we see Paz Vizsla pulls out his vibra blade and demands that he submit or fight. Now, the blade, I don't see how they can hold on to that thing because it was shaking so much. It's like an electric razor, or a beeper back in the day, The two fight on the deck of the ship, and Djarin offers to intervene, but Bo-Katan opinions the fight was bound to happen sooner or later. Following a tussle, Vizsla throws Wolves against a chest. The two continue to fight, but Grogu uses IG-12 to break up the fight, and he says no. And the two men are like, oh, okay, whatever, some robot, whatever. And they walk away and stop fighting. And this is when Bo-Katan says that Djarin has taught his apprentice well. Djarin replies that Grogu did not learn that from him. Probably learned it from Luke Skywalker. Meanwhile, the Armour takes the gauntlet to the surface and informs the fleet commander to prepare to receive survivors in need of medical attention. She flies to the light cruiser back on Mandalore. One of the survivors spots something emerging from the starboard side itself. Turns out to be a large dragon-like monster, which uses its tail to smash their land ship. The Mandalorians activate their jetpacks and abandon ship while the dragon devours their ship. The survivors retreat into an underground cave. So this is a part that I watched like 4 or 5 times in the show because I wanted to be sure it wasn't a mythosaur. Because it kind of seemed like it was going to be a mythosaur that came up out of that water or whatever, ground. But it wasn't. It was just a dragon or a monster or whatever, a crocodile, something. Who knows what it was? But it was on the screen for such a short time. I had to watch it so many times to tell for sure. So they lead themselves into a cave in a tunnel that eventually takes them to the remains of the Great Forge. Grogu is inside IG-12. When Djarin asks where they are, Axe Wolf explains that they are in the presence of the Great Forge, which has long been extinguished by the bombings. When Vizsla asks if they lived here, Reeves replies that it used to be their home. The survivors' captain says his group never left Mandalore, but survived by migrating across the surface until the war ended. Some tried to explore the underground levels, but never emerged. The Mandalorians are suddenly ambushed by a group of Imperial armored commandos. You see them come down, and they're like, "Oh, what is that? There's other Mandalorians? Oh no, it's the enemy. Those are Those are Imperials. They have jetpacks and Beskar armor. The Imperials pin them down, leading them into a gun battle. Djarin says they need backup, and Wolves volunteers to return to the fleet to bring reinforcements, which there's another person that leaves that could be suspicious, like I mentioned him earlier. Bo-Katan thinks that it's too far, but Paz Vizsla spots an opening in the ceiling, and he provides cover fire for Wolves to flee to the surface. And he makes a clean escape. The other Mandalorians continue fighting with the Imperials with blasters and melee weapons. Both sides experience casualties. In the face of the Mandalorian resistance, the Imperials retreat, and the Mandalorians pursue the Imperials, but Djarin tells Grogu he has to keep up. They chase the Imperial commandos inside an Imperial starfighter base, but they are trapped behind blast doors. They're trapped. It's a trap. And Djarin and two other Mandalorians are on the other side of the blast doors and make a fiery stand, while the other two are killed. Djarin is subdued and restrained by fiber cord whips from the Imperial commandos. And suddenly, Moff Gideon arrives in dark trooper armor. He tells his Mandalorian prisoners that their time has passed, but their culture and spirit will live on in him. Because I'm a special kind of guy. He explains that he has exploited the planet's resources to build the next generation of Dark Troopers. Gideon says he hopes to use elements of the Jedi, Mandalorians, and clones to create a new army that will restore order to the galaxy. And he orders Djarin to be brought to the briefing room, which is weird. Why wouldn't he just kill him like he's killing everybody else? But he's seeking to complete the Mandalorian purge, and Gideon orders that the TIE fighter, bombers, and interceptors prepare to strike the unaware Mandalorian fleet. Bo-Katan says she regrets not killing Gideon when she had a chance. Gideon demands that she surrender the Darksaber and tell her people to submit. And Paz Vizsla defiantly fires his blaster at the blast doors, while Bo-Katan attempts to use the Darksaber to cut a hole through the back blast door. Gideon orders his troops to open the front blast doors and kill them. Bo-Katan manages to cut the hole through the rear, and the Mandalorians, Grogu, and IG-12 escape, which that's the same thing. IG-12 and Grogu is the same thing. Escape at the time, but Paz Vizsla decides to make a last stand and seals the front blast door. Bo-Katan retreats while Vizsla runs out of ammunition. He fights the jump troopers in hand-to-hand combat and even throws 2 or 3 of them down the chasm. Vizsla is attacked by 3 Praetorian guards and activates his personal combat shield. Despite his defiant stand, Vizsla is impaled and stabbed numerous times by the Praetorian guards, who leave him to die on the floor. Moment of silence. Scott disappeared. So that leads me to the question of the week, since the credits are rolling. My question is kind of related to the article that Rick sent in about the spies. It is crap. We're gonna pull it up. I don't have it up. It's asking basically if the obvious question that if the armor is the armor working against the Mandalorians? Is she one of the spies? And I kind of think maybe she has something to do with something, but we don't know. What do you think, Scott? Do you think the Armour is one of the spies, or is it that Axe Wolves guy, or the?
Why do you think she's a spy?
Well, because they called the episode "The Spies," and we only saw actually one spy, which was Ella Kane. Who do you think? Who do you think other spies are?
I don't know.
All right, so there's a couple people that could be. It could be Axe Wolves. It could be that we talked about the Costa, the female Mandalorian that's always hanging around Axe Wolves. It could be Grief Karga. We don't know. Maybe Grief is still trying to get his own thing going.
I don't see how the Armour would be one. You think
Why not?
because just because she took the injured back and wasn't in the fight?
That's one of the reasons.
I think that's what we're kind of being, led to believe. But I think it's gonna. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I think she's not. Initially, yeah, I thought she kind of had some part to do in it. But the more I think about it, I think that's what they want us to believe, and then blindside us with something else. Like,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think so too. I just don't really know what that is, and it's probably because I'm second guessing and triple guessing and kind of what they want us to do, I guess. But yeah. So Scott, I was telling Rick that this next episode, which is the final episode for the season, a major character is supposed to die. We don't know who that is yet, but a major character is supposed to die.
So throw this one out as a wild theory. It's Grogu, and they're using it. They're using the Force to communicate somehow, and he's unintentionally doing it, because he doesn't have control over his power yet. It's a
I don't know. I think he's got a lot more control over it than he did last season.
Oh yeah.
It's a stretch. I was looking at the cast here too to see if anybody stood out. In this, the only other one I can think of is, like I said, Grief Karga, because he was kind of a shifty guy to begin with, and then he's reformed and is now the whatever of that Navarro.
True.
I don't know. It could be anybody. It could be someone else that we're not even thinking about.
Wasn't Moff Gideon just all about getting Grogu back?
No.
Huh?
He wanted Grogu for his DNA,
Yeah.
but he wasn't all about getting Grogu back. If he was,
don't you think that he would have gone more after Grogu then? Or do you think that he got to Mando and take him to question him, and then he's gonna go, we'll give you Mando if you give us a real cuddly thing.
I don't know. He didn't act like he was interested in Grogu at all this last couple episodes. So.
Well, he's already got the doctor, so he doesn't need Grogu.
Well,
you don't got a doctor.
Yeah. Dr. Pershing.
Doctor's fried.
Well, but he got what he needed off the doctor, so.
But the doctor needed Grogu.
Well, did he?
Never got
they had it. Yeah, they did. They had him for a while, remember? Because he had to go back and rescue him out of their possession.
Oh, that's right.
So they could have already gotten DNA from him, but we don't know. Anyway, so Yeah, so that's why we watch. We've got
what about the how they set up camp in on Mandalore Empire?
Gideon, you mean?
Yeah. Was that just after that meeting? How much time passed, or was he just trying to protect that?
He's just trying to protect that. I think so. Gideon was involved in the Great Purge of Mandalore, which happened a while ago. It happened during the Clone Wars or around that time, and I think probably not long after that, he started to set up his own little base right there on that planet.
Okay.
So he's been there for years, my guess.
It took good cover to destroy the planet and make it, where it was uninhabitable to build your base because he knew the resources were available there.
I even wonder if, they talk about how the magnetic field is so messed up that they can't scan. Who knows if maybe that's Moff Gideon doing something to cause that? We don't know. So people can't find him. Because he is in hiding, of course. He's been captured a couple times,
but always escapes.
Yeah, always escapes. All right, let's talk about some feedback.
Feedback
at KyleJohansson.us. That's feedback, KyleJohansson.us.
Yeah, so that email will get us feedback. It'd be nice if you wrote something, but you could also record a video and send it to us that way. We also have a feedback link on the left-hand side of the website. I point over there because if you're watching the video on our website, it's right over there. So that'll get us feedback. We just talked about the question of the week. That's over there too, and there's a spot there where you can put comments on the question of the week. You can, basically explain why you answered the way you answered, or anything else you want to put in there. You want to ask, Scott what kind of chips he's eating, or whatever. We're on Twitter at super_duper.pod, and we also have videos on YouTube and Spotify, and there's spots for comments on all those areas too. So anywhere you want to put those comments, we'll take them and
ask me a question.
Yeah, ask him a question. We don't know what he's going to say, so be careful. So that's we want your feedback as much in as possible. Send us all of it. All right. So, anything else you guys want to discuss on this episode? It's a pretty packed episode. I think it was pretty action packed.
Next one's gonna better be good.
Better be. It's gonna suck.
I think the finale is gonna be good, but it's definitely gonna suck for sure.
That's why I said this one sucked.
This one was awesome. There was
it was pretty good too.
I'm talking about. I thought the good guys always won.
Nope. Not in the Star Wars universe.
It seems like the bad guys always come out on top of them.
I mean, look, we had Jabba the Hutt take Han Solo. I mean, there you go. So
he got away though.
Yeah, true, he did. But
he had to get a girl to help him out, but he got away.
Or he stuck a lot of time in the cryo freeze. So no, I thought this was an awesome episode. I thought they did a really good job tying a lot of stuff together. I mean, there was a lot going on. Like it was, like the episode before, or 2 episodes before, it was like 2 different. It was like only 2 settings. This one, there was like all over the place.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 settings this time.
And so it tied a lot of stuff together, like, getting us prepped for this next episode, which I think is going to be really awesome. But I just think it's going to suck because we're going to be stuck with what are we waiting for?
Like the ending during the credits. I like the artwork.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's always fun to watch, too. Yeah,
with Grogu in the robot was really good. He was so cute. He had a little smirk on his face.
Yeah.
With eyes seemed to have teeth.
Whatever, right?
Let's predict who we think is going to die.
Okay, let's do that. So I think that I'm going to throw this one out there. I think Bo-Katan's going to die in this next episode.
Yeah, that's a good guess. She's going to give her life. She's going to give her life for the rest of them. You think that?
I don't know. I think that's one of the obvious ones. The other obvious one is probably the one that.
And Moff going to win and take the saber back, and then
I don't know.
Everyone's going to be the Empire.
I think the other obvious one is the Armour, but Bo-Katan is the one that I think is the one that's going to die.
She's too sick.
I can see that. I agree. I can see both of those, but that's not who I'm guessing. But that's who I see. What you want to go next?
I'll go with Bo-Katan.
Okay, go with Bo-Katan. I'm gonna go out on the limb here. I think it's Grogu.
You do, huh?
I do. I think Grogu gets killed.
Well, we can't go forward with his story now. I mean,
well, is the story about
what else?
Is the story about Is the story about Grogu? Or is the story about Djarin?
Well, they're the ones that brought Grogu. I mean, at the beginning of it, right? He's been all 3 seasons, right?
But
yeah.
What purpose does he serve after this?
I think.
What's the name of the show, though? What's the name of the show? It's not the Grogu show. It's the Mandalorian.
But I also don't think he's the only one that dies. I think Moff dies too, but I think Grogu is the one that's going to be. Everybody's going to say hurts so bad. I think it's going to be Grogu. I think they kill him off.
I don't know. I mean, we have to. There's got to be something for next season, which likely is going to be the last season for Mandalorian 2. They talked about 5th season, but I don't know. Since they introduced these movies and stuff, I don't know if that's going to be the way it's going to happen. But I think, Rick, if Grogu was killed off, I think there would be riots in the streets if that happened.
I'm not saying there's not. I'm just telling you that
what if Grogu just dies? It dies by using all his energy force to save Mando.
That's how I think this is going to play out. I'm because the director, this Rick F. whatever, said it's going to hurt. I think Grogu protects Din, but he kills Moff in the process. That's my going out on the limb here. I just think we're going to be left with Din gets saved, Grogu kills Moff, but he dies in the process of killing Moff Gideon. I'm just throwing it out there. That's what I think is going to happen.
He served his purpose, and now it's time for him to go live in the Force. In the Force.
Yeah.
Force access to the rest of them.
Yep.
I don't know.
I'm going with Grogu.
Well, that would make sense in a way because Grogu isn't in the future movies, of course. It doesn't mean anything. He still could be alive. We just don't know about him in the future movies. But I don't know. I think
get on board.
I think there's 2 scenarios where Moff Gideon dies or Moff Gideon survives. Because Moff Gideon, he wasn't really in the first season, but he's been the guy in the background for all the rest of the seasons. So if he dies, what are they going to do the next season? Is it all going to be a about Thrawn and all this stuff.
Yeah,
And I don't.
Because Thrawn will become the new antagonist.
I don't think so because, I mean, I think he'll be there. I think they'll talk about him, but we'll never see him.
Thrawn doesn't want to deal with Moff. Thrawn's his own entity.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is he's not going to be in the Mandalorian show. They'll mention his name, but he's not going to be in the show.
Thrawn?
Yeah.
He's supposed to show up.
No.
Yes.
No, they never said that.
That's what the articles. I mean.
No, that was Ahsoka. Ahsoka is where he's always been at.
Okay.
See, I think
his first appearance in live action is supposed to be in Ahsoka.
I opened the can of worms, but I think they're going to interwove Ahsoka and the Mandalorian next season, and I think
there we go.
Thrawn's going to take over the bad guy that antagonist. Thank you, Scott. I couldn't think of the dang word. That's how I see it.
I don't think so.
But we'll find out. That's why we wait till
you got $1 to put on the barrelhead, buddy. Come on.
So we've got Team Grogu is going to die, and Team Grogu is not going to die. I guess. I don't know. I think
there's going to be.
I think if that
happens,
well, I mean, 3/4 of the people that watch for Grogu, so at least that's the way it seems sometimes in the media and stuff.
Those stupid, non-knowing Star Wars women that watch for Grogu.
They're all about baby Grogu. Look at the baby.
He's so cute.
Except for the like 60 years old at this point.
Yeah, he is.
You know,
60-year-old man.
if they sit there and they watch and they want to let their kids watch and they kill Grogu off, there's going to be a lot of child psychologist appointments the next day.
Could be.
Yeah, but what better way to live? People talking about the show, you know.
Leave it. They'd be talking all summer.
Yep. So that's just my thing. I knew it was going to open a can of worms when I said it, but that's my prediction, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, and to your other points, where you think this episode's been pretty good, and I thought the other episode before that was not too bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't as good as this one. So on Twitter, usually on Wednesdays and Thursdays, it's flooded with people talking about Mandalorian, right? Well, this last week it's been trending almost every day of the week, because they're building up to the finale, of course.
No, it was trending because they had the Star Wars thing in London.
No, that's part of it, but there was more talking about the episodes and stuff like that, what was going to happen and stuff. Because we got to see, that Shadow Council, and some of those people are people a lot of diehard fans have been waiting to show up and stuff. Many of those warlords are people we'll probably never see again, but a couple of them are pretty important.
So
and I pointed them out. It's that one Hux guy, and then the guy that was the right hand to Thrawn are the two important ones there in that Shadow Council. But
right there with Grogu, season 4.
The one that talked about Thrawn, I think he has more power than Moff, because Moff kind of shut the hell up when you mentioned Thrawn.
Well, yeah, because Thrawn's the guy. So I was kind of sort of explaining this to Rick too, but Thrawn was employed, let's say, by Darth Vader. And of course we know Darth Vader dies, and that's when he goes into hiding. Thrawn goes into hiding. And that's why he's in hiding right now. But Thrawn created this group called the Hand of Thrawn. That's what he called them. And they were a group of people that were his right-hand men. And I think this Hux guy and the other guy, they had his name and everything. His
Pelio or something.
Yeah, that guy. Pelion guy. He is. Those two are right close to Thrawn to start with, and Thrawn's was smart enough that when things went down, that he took a lot of the fleet somewhere else and hid it, basically. So that's how they have access to all the fleet and stuff like that, all the reinforcements that they ask for and whatever.
So here's your other story for season 4 is that Project Necromancer bringing back Palpatine.
Yeah, we could see more of that. I don't know. I think we're gonna see. I mean, so the Bad Batch is before, so we're gonna get a glimpse in the new season of Bad Batch on what's going on there, because they got to rescue Crosshair, and then they've got to, maybe destroy part of that facility or something. But that facility on Bad Batch is where Project Necromancer is at, the exact spot it's at, Mount Tannis.
And so we got the dude that took over whatever and captured that guy's character. Then can roll into the Mandalorian possibly too with Necromancer. I can't think of his name.
The doctor guy.
Yeah.
Dr. Hemlock.
Hemlock. That's it. I knew it was some kind of drink that was poisonous. Hemlock.
Yeah.
Season 4 and season 5 are easily done, and Grogu is out of the picture. He's gone.
Without a tear shed.
He's gone.
Without a tear shed.
Well, I don't know about that, but Grogu's gone.
I'm joking.
I'll
cry.
Honestly, I wouldn't be that sad that Grogu would be gone, because I think he's only there for the fluff, if you know what I mean. He's not really.
The fluff is getting old. He needs to either grow up and have a part and use the Force to help Mando out, or he needs to go away.
You're cold-hearted.
No.
Me?
Let's chip some of that ice off of that heart. I need some for my tea. Holy smokes. Grogu.
No.
Man.
Whatever. I just think that he's only. Let's say we took Grogu out of the picture. With the stories, could you still tell the same story? Probably.
It would be awesomer. Grogu's been holding Mando back, because he has to look behind him all the time to make sure he's okay.
But he's also helped him grow too. But that's besides the point. But I don't know, Grogu. I always think, like I said earlier, it's not the Grogu show; it's the Mandalorian. So it's about Mandalorians, not Grogu, in my opinion.
Yeah, so he needs to go away. So it needs to be a Mando show, not a Grogu show.
That's why I watched it to begin with. It's not for Grogu. It's for Mandalorians.
Yeah. So why you bitching about having Grogu go away?
Because I think the rest of the audience will get rid of him. They'll
Rick, I think we found a soft spot.
Yeah.
No, you haven't.
He had a Grogu shirt under that shirt he's wearing.
No, I don't. But I do have several Grogus up here. But no, I don't. I don't. I don't care. Like I said, I think he shouldn't have been in the show as much as he has.
He's just waiting for the turn off so he can put his Grogu hat on with the ears.
I would have been happy if he would have stayed with Luke Skywalker and not continued on the show. But
yeah, but here's the big question: Do we see Grogu in the Ahsoka show then coming up? Because we know that Ahsoka knows that he was with Luke, so we're gonna have a flashback with Grogu when he was there. Now that he's dead, then they'll still be able to incorporate him in the other shows.
Yeah, because he'll be a force picture or whatever it is. He'll be in that.
It makes perfect sense.
No, it doesn't.
Marketing.
There you go.
Marketing this.
See,
No.
more intelligent discussion.
I guess that's
No.
the hint.
This will definitely get feedback. Kill Grogu off. These people are talking about killing Grogu off. What the hell?
You have to have people to listen first before you get feedback.
Oh,
You're gonna
you
have
are
to
so
hit this one.
cold.
You
Not
need
cold,
to-
I'm just saying.
You need to have creative media, and so your title on this one is Spies. Grogu.
Grogu's dead.
I could, yeah.
Hey, yeah. Yeah, when they had Grogu for that time before he had to rescue him, there's a tracker in him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Waiting for Moth to say one word and Grogu's eyes turned different. He turned around and tried to kill Mando.
Turns red.
And Mando has to kill Grogu.
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't believe that one, but it's a good idea.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, you guys are going crazy. So let's wrap it up since we've been going for an hour and a half now. This is a long version of the podcast. So
Hey
let's
Rick,
get out of here.
Rick, we gotta watch this when he posts it because he's gonna knock all this Grogu crap out. I bet you $100. I bet you $1.
Whatever.
That's all right. You're my witness. I said it first. Grogu dies.
Yep, Rick. Rick from the Ville.
Viral video. Grogu dies right here.
Yep, there we go. Alert.
He's gonna have so much traffic he won't know what to do with.
That'd be fine.
All these women sitting and getting on site. What the fuck?
Yeah, feedback. All right.
Yeah.
I can't let my child watch any Star Wars now. Never know.
All right.
Okay.
It's time to go.
Thank you for listening to the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room podcast.
Please visit our website where you can play current and past episodes. That's https://RABR.KyleJohansson.us. That's RABR.KyleJohansen.us. On the left-hand side is a navigation menu. You can use this to learn how to load the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room podcast on your Android or Apple phone and tablet. And we have direct links to our podcast on Apple and Google Podcasts. Please participate by connecting to our social media, answering questions of the week, or submitting feedback directly from the site. Again, all of these are available at the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room website at RABR.KAILEJOHANSEN.US. This podcast in no way is approved, sponsored, or owned by Lucasfilms Ltd., Disney, Disney Plus, or any of its subsidiaries. All opinions are solely owned by Kyle and or Scott, and in no way express the views or opinions of their past or present employers. Views and opinions are not supported or restricted by Lucasfilms Ltd., Disney, Disney Plus, or any of its subsidiaries. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or any or other use of this podcast and its affiliate sites without consent of Super Duper Podcast Network and its host is prohibited. I am Kyle Johansson, and this is Andrew Scott Sutton. Say goodbye now. And Rick. Don't forget Rick.
Rick DeVille.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I was gonna say real quick that the last episode that I put up on Thursday has already had 23 views on people watching, which is a good sign.
Grogu dies. Grogu dies. You're gonna get like double.
Right.
Grogu
Yeah.
dies.
Yeah, sure.
Extra. Come read about it.
Listen
Read
all
about it.
Listen all about it.
There you go. That's better. All right, guys. I'm going to cut it off from the recording.